So, well, we'll take some questions on Epstein in a minute. New York City mayor's race. New York Times is reporting that there's a new group funded by, as my friend Bernie Sanders would say, billionaires and millionaires.
Hmm.
20 million, I don't know if that's an estimate or floor or ceiling, to try to beat Mondami, Mr. Mondami, the Democratic nominee for mayor. And it's not really clear to me how they're going to spend that money. The New York Times, oh no, this is Wall Street Journal. I said New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Um, uh, so here's a paragraph that really stood out to me in the story. It's a straight news story, but I find this paragraph to be kind of hilarious. I'm going to read it verbatim. Again, this is from the Wall Street Journal story. Political strategists and financiers say the opening weeks of the general election have been chaotic. True. Now, here's the part I like. They complain the anti-Mamdani bulwark lacks a positive message and a candidate and enough votes to win. And like short little Hemingway sentences and a candidate, period, and enough votes to win, period. Again, very good reporting, very good analysis. They don't have a positive message. They don't have a candidate, and it doesn't appear they have enough votes to win. Now, we still are watching to see who's going to endorse this guy. The Chuck Schumer of New York hasn't endorsed him. Uh, uh, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries hasn't endorsed him. The chairman of the Democratic Party. Do you know who that is? You name
Ken
that guy?
Martin. Ken Martin.
There you go. Ken Martin. Ken Martin was on the NewsHour. Do you know what the NewsHour was called when I was your age, Aaron?
No, what was it?
Do you know what the NewsHour is?
Nope.
Okay. So the NewsHour is the nightly PBS evening newscast. It's an hour long. I don't know who hosts it now, but back in the day when I was your age, it was hosted by a guy's named McNeil and Lair. It was called the McNeil Lair NewsHour. And if you applied for a job there or an internship, they had a simple rule. If you spelled either McNeil or Lair incorrect, they wouldn't even look at your application. And back there was no Twitter then, believe it or not, no internet. So figuring out how to spell McNeil, and they were both spelled kind of weird, like non-standard. I forget, McNeil was like MAC, I can't remember, but they were not easy spellings. But that was their policy. In any event, I digress. Ken Martin was on the NewsHour, and he's asked about this thing that Mr. Mondami says. I'm blanking on the thing. He says, globalize the intifada, right?
Intifada.
Thank you, intifada. I say it wrong every time. I'm like Norm Crosby. Well, you said it. Anyway, Ken Martin was asked, what do you think of that, Mr. Chairman? And this answer, Haley and I will agree. I don't even need to ask Haley. This answer is like a train wreck disaster. Here is the chairman of the Democratic Party asked what he thinks about something that many Americans consider to be highly offensive. This is Ken Martin on the NewsHour, number 11.
To learn more.
What about concerns from some of your Jewish colleagues in particular about him not outright condemning the phrase globalize the intifada in a recent interview? Some of your Jewish colleagues have said that that could be very disturbing, potentially dangerous. Do you agree with that?
You know, there's no candidate in this party that I agree 100% of the time with, to be honest with you. There's things that I don't agree with Mamdani that he said. But at the end of the day, I always believe, as a Democratic Party chair in Minnesota for the last 14 years, and now the chair of the DNC, that you win through addition. You win by bringing people into your coalition. We have conservative Democrats. We have centrist Democrats. We have labor progressives like me. And we have this new brand of Democrat, which is the leftists. And we win by bringing people into that coalition. And at the end of the day, for me, that's the type of party we're going to lead. We are a big tent party. Yes, it leads to dissent and debate, and there's differences of opinions on a whole host of issues. But we should celebrate that as a party and recognize at the end of the day, we're better.
And I don't work in politics, but I think that's what's called a pivot.
Well, let me tell you something. Ken is very media trained.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think of that answer for the good of the party? Do you think that's a good way to address this?
Listen, at the end of the day, his job is to elect Democrats, right? So him going against a Democratic nominee would be a little weird. So I'm not surprised at this answer. That's his job. Ultimately, I think that there are reasons why Jeffries and Schumer haven't endorsed Mamdani, but I do think they ultimately will endorse him. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I try to stay out of New York City politics because it's a mess no matter what election cycle we're in, but especially this one.
Yeah,
I think
I try to stay out of it too, but sometimes I have no choice.
yeah, No, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious of why you think they're going to endorse him. They haven't yet. What will cause them to endorse him?
I mean, just practicality, right? You look at Adams's approval ratings, they're, I think, like 24% approval, 60% disapproval. Cuomo couldn't win a primary because of all of the allegations against him, but also because he didn't really even run a campaign. And then you have a Republican candidate. So those three are really splitting the votes. What's the other option? You don't endorse and don't work with the mayor of New York City, which is
Yeah,
arguably one of the most powerful positions in the country.
yeah, yeah.